26 races in the regular season have come down to this moment. The final race, the regular season, under the lights at the World Center of Racing. Those of you who were watching early this morning, we had a race on the Daytona road course. Rusty Wallace was taken out on the last lap after contact with Dylan Murway, ending up 24th. He's getting close to a win. Other things to note tonight, the DEI cars, if they get together, could be very strong tonight. The Childress cars, if they get together, can be very strong tonight. A lot of storylines. Robbie Gordon and Dale Jr., both the drivers competing in the last Noble 5 race of the year. If they win this race, they get $1 million. A fan gets $1 million, and they get into the playoffs. Crazy stuff, huh? And awesome stuff, too. Pretty sweet deal. Free trip to the playoffs? Yes, please. So, a lot of storylines. Obviously, Mark Martin can clinch the regular season championship tonight by finishing this race at least 25th or better, leading a lap. Jeff Gordon can clinch the regular season championship, or come away with the bag, basically, by winning this race, earning the $1 million bonus, and leading more laps than Mark Martin, and by Mark Martin having a problem. He has an 84-point gap, but at a track like Daytona and Talladega, anything can change. The Daytona International Speedway has 31 degrees with banking in the corners. By the way, we are in the final stretch of the Daytona Tour. Went from the sandy beaches of Daytona. Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett went to victory lane there. The road course race early this morning, Jimmy Johnson went to victory lane there. And tonight, we got the oval and a lot of storylines. Here's some track facts for if you didn't watch the 500. So 31 degrees of banks in the corners, 18 degrees on the front, 3 degrees on the backstretch. Tonight's race will pay $186,000 to the winner. We'll seat 168,000 people in the very first race at this new 2.5-mile facility was in 1959. Track record was obviously that famous 210-mile-an-hour lap set by Bill Elliott. You kind of half saw this during the track facts section. I am driving a Dale Senior silver and man in silver paint scheme tonight. Obviously, throwback to Dale Sr.'s silver Goodwrench Chevrolet he drove in the All-Star race during the 1995 season. Obviously, silver and the white that's typically on the bottom is substituted for a black, and the numbers have a black outline, and the striping above the black is red. Coming to the line, we'll see where this lap puts us. 30th. Wow. Yikes. Second time around. Just a reminder, the final race of the regular season Bill Elliott is out. Jeff Burton is in, holding on by just 4 points. If there is a new winner from outside that top 16, that can really shake things up. But they have to be inside the top 30. So this lap will put us in the 21st position. So we're on the bottom, which is good. But remember, just like in Talladega, the fastest line is the best line. There's no set groove at this track. Where the momentum goes, your butt better be there.
Tonight, it's Super Speedway action under the lights. MRN is live at the Daytona International Speedway this evening with flag-to-flag coverage of the Pepsi 400. With a history and prestige here at this track, the teams seem to be all pushing themselves just a little harder this week.
The list of former winners here is very prestigious indeed. Who wouldn't want their name to be on it? Who knows, maybe we'll add another lucky driver when this one's all over.
But Coca-Cola car always finishes strong at the Super Speedways.
Yeah, he definitely has found something on these big tracks. I look for him to have a great race again in this one.
Jimmy Spencer will start this race a little farther back than he's used to.
Yeah, he was due for one of these bad starts, though. Nobody can start up front all year. You're going to have a bad qualifying run now and then.
Bobby Hamilton is towards the bottom of the points list this season.
Yeah, those guys have been working so hard this year. It's a shame it doesn't really show in points. It just seems they can't keep that car out of trouble on race day. Maybe their luck will change today.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Here's the starting lineup.
Starting out front are the GM Goodrich Service Plus Chevrolet and the Singular Wireless Chevrolet. Starting in row 2 will be the Photographed Ford and the Kodak Chevrolet. In row 3 are the America Online Chevrolet and the Home Depot Pontiac. In row 4 are the UNM's Pontiac and the Ganassi Racing Dodge. Rounding out the top 10 starting spots are the Cheerios Dodge and the 98 car. Mark Martin, the NASCAR Winston Cup points leader, will start towards the front. Starting from row 7 will be the DuPont Chevrolet and the Lowe Chevrolet. In the 8th row are the Avalon Ford and the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. In the 9th row, we have the Coca-Cola car and the Interstate Batteries Pontiac. In the 10th row are the Pennzoil Chevrolet and the Caterpillar Dodge. Starting the race from row 11 are the 49 car and the Team Rusty Ford. The 12th row has the Dale Jr. Chevrolet and the DeWalt Power Tools Ford. Starting the race from row 13 will be the Dodge Dealers UAW Dodge and the Target Dodge. In row 14, we have the Dodge Dealers UAW Dodge and the Rubbermaid Ford. Starting from row 15 will be the Kellogg Chevrolet and the Citgo Ford. In the 16th row are the Alltel Ford and the Tide Ford. In the 17th row are the Valvoline Pontiac and the UAW Delphi Chevrolet. In the 18th row are the Sprint Dodge and the 7th car. Starting the race from row 19 are the 16th car and the 27th car. The 20th row is the 26 car and the 46 car. Starting the race from row 21 will be the Square D Chevrolet in the 37 car. And finally, starting from the rear of the field will be the 23 car.
So, final race of the regular season, the end of the Daytona Tour before the playoffs start at Darlington. It's going to be a fun one. 40 laps tonight, final race of the regular season. Several big names that haven't won. Tony Stewart, Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace come to mind. Robbie Gordon's outside the chase. He needs a miracle tonight. And keep in mind the 5 Noble drivers plus these following drivers as well. Keep an eye on where they're at. Kurt Busch, Bill Elliott, and Jeff Burton, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Michael Waltrip. Keep an eye on those 5 drivers. Waltrip is the furthest back of anybody I just mentioned. But if he can link up with Earnhardt Jr., look out. Also, keep in mind, too, Robbie Gordon teamed up, starting on the front row with Kevin Harvick. Those two team up, they can be a force tonight as well. Mark Martin can also clinch the regular season championship by the facts I just mentioned. And Jeff Gordon can take the regular season championship by having an amazing race tonight. Pace car is off. Kevin Harvick, Robbie Gordon lead him down. Green flag in the Pepsi 400 in the final race of the regular season. Takes a full lap for these drivers to get to full speed heading down into turn 3. Bobby Labonte really someone hit the brakes up ahead. That looked like Waltrip might be backing up, having a plan to back up to find his teammate, Earnhardt Jr. and Steve Park, who started towards the middle of the pack. Out front, Dylan Murway looks to tuck in behind Jarrett, and looks like Kevin Harvick led the first lap. Harvick and Robbie Gordon on the outside, Sadler on the inside. In the Wood Brothers car, he could, if he wins tonight, that could be a huge shake-up in the top 30 in points, because if he wins, then Burton is out. Dylan Murray has went from 17th to 7th in the span of that lap. It looks like there's 3 Childress cars up there. If Harvick can team up can get in front, down and behind Green, then those 3 will be very hard to stop. Especially with those Chevrolets and Pontiacs, just that straight GM power. They can easily just gang up on that one Ford and kick him out of the draft. Just like Tony Stewart did. Looks like he may have just let Dylan in there. And here comes Green. He's doing his job. And that is what you need to do. You need to make aggressive moves. You need to be blocking. You need to pick up the lane. Here comes Green trying to pick up Harvick, but Dylan Murray is a big push to the 31 of Robbie Gordon. It was talked about during earlier tonight that Dylan Murray and Robbie Gordon were going to have a plan to work together, because Dylan Murray has the 5 wins this season, and Robbie Gordon needs the win. And if Dylan and Robbie work together, then I talked to Robbie during pre-race, and I asked him what happens if Dylan pushes you to the win. I'm going to buy him a big freaking dinner. This is what he told me. And, at a place like Daytona, winning it at anywhere is special, but at a place like Daytona, you're among the legends of this sport. And it looks like they're kicking Jeff Green out of line. Green falls to 5th. Harvick has a spot on the inside lane next to Dylan Murray. Looks like Stewart's been trying to push him. This is the same situation similar to what happened earlier this morning, is Dylan Murray gets under Robbie Gordon, abandons him, and comes up in front of Robbie Gordon. Already got one car on pit road due to an issue. Remember, this is what the type of racing that Dylan is going to have to do tonight. He's going to have to go top to bottom to top to bottom. Got basically all General Motors inside that top 5. Jeff Green is pushing Dylan Murray to the front. Top to bottom to top. Just remember that. And it looks like Dylan's going to let off here, see what Green does. And no, he's trying to pick up Robbie. Again, as see Harvick and Stewart teaming up on the inside lane. Chevy and Pontiac. And Richard Childress' teammates battling at the line. I think Green barely led that lap. Remember, Tony Stewart needs that win. He's getting dangerously close to that cut line. If Tony wins tonight, he's in. He's inside that top 16, and that moves that cut line further in terms of drivers that are the highest in points. Harvick looks like he's going to tuck in behind Stewart. Dylan Murray has pushed Jeff Green pretty far. Are out front, so that might mean Green might go backwards. Then Green goes to the top. And he's got a push to Dylan Murray. Here's Harvick down low. Murray downstairs. Green up top with Stewart. Harvick down low with Robbie. Tony Stewart now getting pushed by Harvick on the inside. Still neck and neck. And I think at the line, Dylan will get this spot. He's got that extra momentum just from side drafting. Tony Stewart there. He's got a small pack of cars up ahead. And then the rest of the field behind them with that one car on pit road. Unclear who it is. Here comes Ricky Rudd down there. He's got not a whole lot of help. But out front, Dylan Murray maintaining that flow. He's maintaining that energy of the lines of traffic. Remember, if Ricky Rudd were to suddenly get organized up top, then Dylan will go to block Ricky Rudd. But Jeff Green's down low. Him and Green have worked pretty well together so far. He's got Rudd on the top lane with a push from Stewart. But also you got to keep in mind, too, if you can get 3 or 4 like-minded manufacturers behind, it's like 2 or 3 Chevrolets or 2 or 3 Fords or even 2 or 3 Pontiacs, you get those cars together, you're a lot faster than having a mixed line of, like, say, a Chevy, a Ford, or even a Dodge in there. Jeremy Mayfield, the Pocono winner, fell out after 3 laps tonight due to a blown engine. 9 laps are complete. Ricky Rudd is now pushing Dylan Murway. He's monitoring traffic, which is good. He's watching him block. Now they're going to try to get organized yet. Jeff Green, who's currently being hung out to dry in the process, he's got a push from Sadler. Ricky Rudd all over the back bumper of that 121 car. If Green can keep Sadler behind him, that could really mix things up as he misses that block big time as Ricky Rudd comes out front. You're on board the Coca-Cola Chevrolet. The field has seemed to string out a little bit with the way these packs are. Rudd and Dylan Murway are out front. If these two really start mixing things up, then that'll bring the pack right back, as you see here, with the 30 car of Jeff Green ducking low to probably go back with his buddy. Here, who's got a push from the 500 winner in Sterling Marlin. Murway down low. And then, yeah, he's coming all bases here. I think Dylan's basically mirror driving at this point. And he misses that block. Here comes Rudd on the top. Stewart trying to make a run, I believe. Somehow he couldn't clear that. And they're like, oh, whoa, that was a big one. Murway came out in front of Rudd there. And I think that might have broken them apart, that pack apart even further. It looks like we had another car down on pit road. Unclear what their issue is. But we'll get to that here in a moment. Out front looks like Stewart with a draft from Green. Off of the bumper of Green and then to the second spot. Murway thought Stewart was going to go top. And then back down to the bottom. Push Dylan Murway, and he's blocking like crazy right now. Dylan needs another lap. There is a third slow car on pit road. Big moment. Third slow car here on the apron. Their car exiting pit road due to green flag stops already somehow. I could really throw a monkey wrench into things. It looks like it's a red car. It might be Kurt Busch. We'll have to see here in a few moments if the pack can get organized and catch him. And some more cars leaving pit road. There's a few on the bottom of the track. Looks like might be a bunch of back markers. And Kevin Harvick, see him making up some time up to third. Swings up to cover Green. And down low with, yep, that's what happens when you get a lap car that's just trying to get up to speed, and a lead lap group, technically, like at speed. You get them really slowing them up, and then if they aren't paying attention, they may cause a wreck. Blistering race so far here in the Pepsi 400 as Dylan Murway has led pretty much the first majority laps or so. Looked to be a little competitive early on, but Dylan Murway is trying to manage the energy, keep the field lined up behind him. See how that goes. Stewart down low. And then to the top. And then a big pack behind. Green up top. Murway down low. So far, it has basically been the Dylan Murway show here in the Pepsi 400, guest starring some of the Richard Childress cars and Tony Stewart. And out front, Tony Stewart, he looks to lead this race. He's had an interesting go the last couple weeks. Top 15 runs at Daytona, both of the Daytona races, the Daytona Tour, and crashing out in the second Watkins Glen race. So he needs this win if he can make any headway here in the playoffs, or if he wants to get in even, or hope some of the drivers around him, guys like Rudd, Kurt Busch, or even Rusty Wallace, have a problem or get caught up in an accident. The pack is starting to catch up to Dylan Murway to the top three. Got Ken Schrader on the bottom in fourth, following Tony Stewart in the 20. Then Stewart immediately goes up top. Here comes Schrader with a push from his old buddy Mark Martin on the inside. Look at that. Nice blocking. Bottom to top to back to the bottom. And he's keeping everybody bunched up behind them. Look at that. Green is on the top lane. He's got just only two cars. Harvick came to the third lane with Green. And Dylan Murway is just layering a blistering pace so far in this one. Now, as Jimmy Spencer is a slow car up ahead. Meanwhile, the field continues to figure out if they want to move to the top side or just leave the top lane be, as Dylan makes a rather interesting block on Schrader. I want to give a call out to Schrader, though, in tonight's race. So far, he's started up inside the top 10. He's hung there pretty quietly most of the night as we get to the mid-race point, as Mark Martin takes the lead, looking to take the lead anyway. He takes the spot. We got Harvick up top as well. With a push from Schrader. Now, the slow car of Jimmy Spencer may be in the way if they want to try to get around him. There is a lap car further back in the pack. That is Ricky Craven. Back to this lap car really slowing things up, and Dylan Murray wearing out his tires. And here comes Schrader. He hasn't led in a very long time. He can't quite seem to get him. Dylan Murray lets off 3 wide, 3 lanes. Tony Stewart on the bottom out of all this. Trying to mix things up. Stewart barely has a lane while the field continues to shuffle behind. Looks like Jeff Gordon is back there. Murway is just blocking this field left and right. Trying to maybe do a stretch run in case there's a caution or two. because this is playing out very similar to the Daytona race in February. A very long green flag stretch, followed by a couple pit stops. Right to Harvick, then to Martin on the bottom. And right down low, getting a draft off of Spencer. And then here comes the rest of the field. Cars are coming into pit road. Here comes Harvick down low on Spencer. He's got a little bit of distance because of that lapped car. As cars are continuing to make their way to pit road. They're right to the top side. Here comes Stewart down low. That looks like he's bringing Sterling Marlin and Jeff Gordon with him. On that top side, they're 3 wide. Rudd's back there by himself. And here comes Dylan Murway to pit road. Oh, big mistake here. After that one, Dylan Murway just 1 mile an hour over in the first section of pit road. 5-second speeding penalty. That may cost him. And his pit crew slipped. His tire changer slipped. Wow. Dylan Murway ends up 22nd. He's going to be inside the top 25 by the time this things start to settle down. And this race has gone caution-free up to this very point. Murway blends in 31st place. Goes to show you what happens with 5 seconds on a pit stop. That can really do you in. And already he's about to go a lap down. Several drivers heading to pit lane. Kevin Harvick and Robbie Gordon have not pitted just yet. As smoker on the apron, that is Kyle Petty. As they make everything back around. He stays green here. And the leader is the 29 of Harvick. Probably going to pit this time. He comes off pit road, so that will hand the lead to Jeff Gordon. Norway to the bumper of Park. Going to draft off him. This is time trying to make up some points. Position on the track. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has made his way up to second. If he wins, he gets $1 million. A fan gets $1 million. And he gets a spot in the chase. Seems like a pretty sweet deal to me. By the way, the other car that did fall out of the race due to engine trouble, I'll go ahead and look him up here. Oh, sorry. Earnhardt Jr. did take the lead. I'm sorry. Wow, short list. Wow. 3 Dodges with engine trouble tonight. Kyle Petty, Casey Atwood, and Jeremy Mayfield all with issues. 3 Dodges with issues. The field comes around here to reach 12 to go. Earnhardt Jr. is your current race leader. Oh, sorry. Marlin took the lead from Jr. For that, and then you got Harvick, Gordon, and Jarrett, the top 5. With 12 laps to go. What's really impressive tonight is we have ran this entire race caution-free up to this point. Really, only 3 incidents. Well, actually, not really that. The only 3 cars that fell out of the race were all Dodges. Really kind of a shock here to see that, to be honest. And you got Dylan Roy passing by Shauna Robinson for 24th. I got another car slowing on the apron. At least I think so. I think she's slowing. It's slowing up there. He's in turn 1. We have reached 10 laps to go here in the Pepsi 400 here at Daytona. In a race that has just been pretty clean. All these cars, I'm not surprised we haven't had the big one. We haven't talked about the big one. Really unusual to see, to be honest with you. It's even more so unusual is Junior's up front, but his buddy Mikey's in 23rd. Or 22nd, I'm sorry. Here comes Dylan with a big draft back to the bumper of Johnson. Rimmer up top, losing a lot of ground. And Waltrip goes around here in turn 3. Caution is out. Oh, whoa. Looked like there might have been a bit of a mess back there. Kind of curious to see there. Wow, just missed collecting Shauna Rob. Oh, Steve Park railroads him. Yeah, Steve Park and Terry Labonte just jackknifed him. 6 laps to go. Green flag back into the air. See if Dylan Merwick can make the run to the front. Earnhardt Jr. leads. Marlin, Harvick, and Gordon were the top 4. If Jr. can win and pull this off, this was the site that back in 2001, the very first race at Daytona since his father's death, in this very race, after a late restart, that he went to victory lane. Could he repeat it here and punch his ticket into the playoffs and earn $1 million? You're about to find out. Oh, Biffle spins in the pack. Collects Mike Skinner, and I believe Casey Kane got a piece of that. Terry Labonte got in that as well. That jacked up Skinner. And then the field rolled in there. And this could be the end of the race. And what better way to time your first win of the season, final race of the regular season. Earnhardt Jr. wins tonight's Pepsi 400, punches his ticket into the playoffs.
We usually have more cautions than that, don't we?
I'd say the fans would probably have liked to see more excitement. I'm sure the drivers, on the other hand, were happy about the low number of caution flags.
Unfortunately, we're out of time for now. Thanks for joining us. Next up is Darlington.
What a way to close out the regular season. And with this, once we sort out the playoff standings, with this win, that makes things even tighter. Earnhardt Jr. going to victory lane tonight. How about this? 2 cautions for 5 laps, 12 lead changes. The race was 44 minutes long, average speed 134 miles an hour, and the margin of victory 0.6 of a second. So, by the way, 12 lead changes among 8 drivers. Earnhardt Jr. wins tonight at Daytona. Sterling Marlin finishes second. Dale Jarrett third. Rusty Wallace fourth. Tony Stewart fifth. Kevin Harvick sixth. Jeff Burton seventh. Jeff Gordon eighth. Mark Martin ninth. And Jeff Green 10th. Mark Martin has, as we look at the regular season standings here shortly for the rest of the field, Newman with a nice run tonight. Jimmy Johnson ends up 20th. Dylan Merway led the most laps, but ends up 25th. Mike Skinner crashed late, ends up 27th. And Robbie Gordon, very tough go for him tonight. 32nd in the final results after starting outside pole. Tough go for him. Three drivers fell out of the race due to engine troubles. All of them were Dodges. So, the playoffs will begin in the Mountain Dew Southern 500 for race 27 to 36 as we begin the Challenger round. Darlington, a night race at Richmond, and the elimination race at Bristol. That will be a wreck fest. Tell you that right now. Mark Martin has locked up the regular season championship tonight with his strong run. 80 points over Jeff Gordon. Tony Stewart with a solid run ends up 5th. So Stewart, Wallace, Burton, Elliott, Kurt Busch, and Ricky Rudd are the 6 drivers that will survive. So I have Stewart, Wallace, Burton, Elliott, Busch, and Rudd made it inside the top 16. Robbie Gordon, after a tough go tonight, does not get into the playoffs after starting second. So the awards, Kevin Harvick won the pole. Dylan Murray led the most laps. Jeff Burton passed the most cars and had the fastest lap. Ryan Newman was the best rookie and made the best pass. So Rookie of the Year, Johnson seems to be Dylan Murray's award to lose at this point. In terms of polls, Kevin Harvick earned his first pole of the year. Adds up to 14 drivers. Dale Earnhardt Jr. earned the jackpot 5 with that win and punched his ticket into the playoffs. So Chevrolet has a 12-point lead over Ford, and Dylan Murray opens up the lap champion lead. So the following 16 drivers are in the playoffs. Punch that in here. So one win there, Mr. Jr. So the final 4, as it sits, Tony Stewart. The 4 drivers that make it in on points: Tony Stewart, Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, and Bill Elliott. Are in. Jeff Burton, Ricky Rudd, and Robbie Gordon are the first 3 out. So, following drivers that have made it into the postseason, based on wins, Dylan Murray takes seed 1 with his wins. He has 5 wins to Jeff Gordon's 4. Jeff Gordon is second in points with 4 wins. Mark Martin is third with 3 wins. Matt Kenseth is 4th with 2 wins. Sterling Marlin is 5th with 2 wins. Dale Jarrett is 6th with 2 wins. And Jimmy Johnson is 7th with 2 wins. Bobby Labonte is in 8th with 1 win. Kevin Harvick is in 9th with 1 win. Jeremy Mayfield is in 10th with 1 win. Ryan Newman is in 11th with 1 win. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the last driver to get into the chase based on a win. So, the 4 drivers that will make it in on points: Tony Stewart, Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, and Bill Elliott. How this works, the round of 16, everybody will be reset with 3,000 points and have 5 bonus points added on for each win. After these 3 eliminator races, so when Bristol cuts the field down to 12, for California, everybody will be reset at 4,000 points, the 12 remaining drivers. Then for Charlotte, when the playoffs for round of 12, when the round of 12 ends at Talladega, we will have 8 drivers, and they will all be reset at 5,000 points for Martinsville, the Texas Road Course, and Phoenix. And then for the championship race at Homestead, man, points don't matter. First across the line will be the Winston Cup champion. So, The playoffs will begin, and stay tuned for a special throwback styled scheme I will design that will run in this race. Good night.